Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and happy new year, and welcome to this fortnight's installment of the IshPlusSix Podcast, the podcast series where you could discover your next favorite artist. On today's episode, I am joined by London-based rap artist Blame Steez. Blame Steez is a relatively new artist who has truly shown that he is someone not to sleep on, with his most recent release, Can't Sleep Forever, telling you exactly that. Having banger after banger, hit after hit, and mesmerizing visuals as the icing on this sonically exquisite cake. Please make sure you guys all go check out Blame Steez on all platforms, and welcome Blame Steez to the IshPlusSix Podcast. Come on, let's go. How's it going, Steez? What's good?
I'm good. I'm chilling, bro. I'm good.
That's good, man. Yeah, you're coming to us from which part of London? I know you're from London, but I never caught which part of London you're from.
So, I'm originally from Luton. I was born in West London, but I did most of my schooling up in Luton. But nowadays, I be in North London most of my time.
Nowadays, North London. So, grew up in Luton, born in West London, grew up in Luton, now in North London. That's a lot of moving around.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, that's too much for me. But yeah, it's just
Glitch, but it's a character building thing. I feel like all of them moving around showed me different aspects of the world and life, and especially like moving from in London to out of London to back. It's like you realize that London in itself is its own like ecosystem of life, and the shit that goes on in there is unique. Yeah, it's cool though. It's good to step out and see what's good outside.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So, before we get too deep into it, you've seen every single episode of the podcast, obviously.
Yep.
You know that we always start off with a joke, and today is no different. So, yeah, let's get it out of the way before we get into the questions. I've just checked my home insurance policy, and apparently, if my blanket is stolen in the middle of the night, I'm not covered.
It's a bad joke, but I'm gonna laugh because you delivered it.
You don't need to laugh, fam. It's calm. Before we get into the main questions, I'm curious as to like what you usually go by yourself. Steez, Blame Steez. What do you usually go by?
So to my friends, I'm probably just Steez, but to a lot of people, they would know me as Blame Steez as well. But to my friends, it's usually just Steez. Yeah.
Honestly, I only just dropped just because there was that what was it? It was that one live a while ago where someone dropped your gov in the.
People were really trying to get me killed out here, man.
It's calm, man. I can bleep it out. It's calm. Honestly, I was.
No, I don't mind it. I don't mind it.
But yeah, let's get into the main questions though. Okay, so there isn't too much that Google actually like. The top layer of the internet tells me about you. You know what I mean? I'm just curious if you could, tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm just curious because, there's literally nothing about you anywhere.
All right, so I can give you a bit of a backstory.
Yeah.
So I'm Nigerian. My full name, Olatunji. The name means my wealth has come again. So my parents, they wanted me to be rich. We'll see. I really enjoy good food and good company. My younger brother is a chef. I've been spoiled my entire life. I've always had good food around me. Some of my favorite things to do are listen to music. Sounds really cliche, but listen to music.
100.
See my friends. I love being with my people. What else you need to know about me? I love Japanese food. That's pretty cool to know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I wouldn't know what the internet would need to know, but that's what I would say.
Yeah, man, that's sick. And yeah, I do remember you mentioning jollof rice on your birthday as well. Cause yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's tough for me because obviously I'm Zimbabwean myself, but Caribbean food is it between African and Caribbean food, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty close. But I think jollof rice just pushes it up that bit higher, you know what I mean?
For sure. I would agree.
Yeah. obviously Caribbeans have like macaroni and cheese and all of that stuff, and it's like I I don't know, man. It might be worth the diabetes. You know what I mean?
I think it's definitely worth it. I think it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, man. How into like Japanese culture are you? Are you into like, the whole anime thing, the whole
Yeah,
all the
sure. I'm a big anime fan. I love anime.
yeah,
Um, my favorite anime, I'm gonna be really cliche and probably say something like Naruto, just because I grew up on it and
yeah,
it's like my comfort anime. Like when I feel like, let's just watch something that's gonna be right, it's gonna hit the spot. I'll watch a couple old favorite episodes of Naruto, tuning exam, the war, some of my favorite arcs. I like some of the newer animes as well, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man. I'm a big fan of some of the newer stuff as well.
yeah, man. Chainsaw Man has been I haven't finished it, but it's crazy. This guy's always trying to touch some tits, fam. It's just
Nah,
like
for sure. I'm not even caught up myself, so I can't really speak too much. But like, yeah, it's probably that and Jujutsu Kaisen two of my favorite animes from recent times. Yeah.
yeah, man. I'm not gonna lie to you though. I think for me personally, I'm more one of those vintage anime people. You know what I mean? Like this Berserk is probably number one for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. It really is. I don't know if you've seen it, but the manga gets spoken about a lot by everyone. It's up there.
I've never seen Berserk, but I will tap in. I'm not gonna lie, I need new stuff to watch. So
Berserk is crazy. It only got one season. That's the only season that I want to talk about. The rest are apparently trash, but you know. Okay, cool. So you're clearly a guy that cares a lot about like your outward appearance, your aesthetic, all of that. Having a aesthetic that defines yourself. I'm curious as to who your big style inspirations are, as a whole. Let's start there.
so I would say I draw a lot of style inspiration from cultures and people. So like if you know me, you know I love to layer pieces. That's like one of my go-to style, like sort of like options. Like you have blocking, different coordination styles. I like layering because one, you can be warm, cozy, comfortable wherever you are. It might take a layer off here and there. But more so, I feel like different materials layer well with each other, layer in some leather on like a coordinate sweater. It's different. And that comes from like the idea of like different armor layers. So like old English like fashion was very much like that with like three-piece suits and things like that. I like looking at history and culture in terms of my style, and that's how it usually evolves. Quite recently, I've actually taken a deep dive into the old swag era. I was looking at snapbacks, YMCMB shirts. Guys were wearing the flannels with the chinos. I think like when you look at style, it's always about personal appearance and also like perception too. So thinking about how am I gonna show people what I like, not only just wear what I like. So I think like your outfit is it's your first like inkling of somebody, It's like before you speak to someone, you see their fit. So it's like my style is usually just who do I want to be that day and what do I want to show people.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like for instance, right now, obviously you're going with the whole like sort of, I don't want to say monochromatic, but it is kind of like, the black hoodie. I mean, obviously you can't see the bottom half. I mean, I'm rocking the friggin' pajama trousers right now. But yeah, tell me a little bit about like what you were trying to go for today then.
Honestly, cozy, real cozy. So like this was just something I threw on. I got just the white or the white tee. If it's not even the white tee, this is bro. Don't
That's
even watch.
super mob.
I got the Supermalt tee on. I got the chrome hoodie for me. Unreleased Blame Studio hat for me. Look out for that, I guess. But yeah, I just something casual for me.
The
I like
super
being
mode is
comfortable
killing me,
though.
man. I'm not gonna lie.
See, if you know me, you know I love Supermalt. Like I can't go anywhere without grabbing a malt. Like that's how I tee up for like a show or something. If I gotta be somewhere and it's like I'm performing, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a long night. I need to grab that Supermalt from the get-go, man. I'm
100,
ahead.
man. You see, most people would take like a Red Bull, like a Monster or something like that. Nah,
Nah,
Steez takes the
super.
Supermalt. You heard it here first, guys.
They don't know about this. They don't know about this method, man.
I rock with that though. I've been seeing Supermalt merch as well because I swear they were doing slides and hoodies and all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mess with it, man. Honestly, I was considering getting some, but it's like I don't know.
yeah, they have some cool. I seen they did like a Christmas jumper a little while ago as well. Like they got some cool stuff.
I mess with it. It's cool.
Mm.
Do you know what? I was about to ask when you gained an interest in your current aesthetic, but it sounds like your aesthetic is sort of spread across different genres, if I'm understanding correctly. I guess just when did you gain an interest in looking fly, if that makes sense?
Okay, yeah. So I've always been into swag. I mean, it's kind of cliche to say it now, but like the name Steez, right? I got that from like when I used to skate a lot when I was a lot younger.
Yeah,
I used to skate a lot, and part of skating to me is also like holding yourself in like a skater's outfit well, having that casual, comfortable, stylish aesthetic. So clothes have always been like a big deal to me. Um, Earliest memory of clothes is probably like my birthday or Christmas time, got some money now. Like the first thing I'm thinking of is like I need to swag out, like trying to get a new piece or something. I'll be saving up for weeks and weeks and just buy like one pair of jeans or one pair. Like back then it was I wanted to get True Religion jeans so bad, like bro, I swear if I could die I would get True Religion jeans first. Like I used to save up my money, get some Truies or some new trainers or whatever. And yeah, just since a young kid I just felt like clothes are so important, and I never really understood why I liked it until I got older. And it is just that personal statement. Like I don't have to speak. Most of the time my mouth is closed. But you're
yeah,
making a
exactly.
statement. You're making a statement by your outfit.
Yeah. And you mentioned how you make a statement by your outfit and how people perceive you just based on, first impressions, what they see first when they see you. That leads me into my next question. You mentioned how as of recent, you recently cut your locks. You used to have locks. Tell me about the reason behind that, what led up to that, or what the straw was that broke the camel's back, I guess.
Alright, so you see with locks, I'll tell you what it was for me. It's a different I know that locks can be a bit of a touchy subject for some people. Some people it's a spiritual thing. Some people it's more just like a fashionable thing.
Yeah.
I feel like for me it was definitely partly um like a spiritual thing, but it was more so just the aesthetic of like having dreads, having locks. But I felt like I was being like shrouded a little bit, being like covered, and I just wanted to change up my appearance a bit. I was being known as, oh yeah, like I don't even know that guy. I just know him because he's got locks. I just know his locks. I just know him. When I see the back of his head, I know him. And I was like, you know what? I can get with that, but at the same time, like I got some interesting things I want to say. I got some other things I want to talk about other than just my hair, and that's why I wanted to change things up a bit. The other part of it was more like I felt like there was a change in myself. I was balancing appearance and what I thought I was pretending to be outside of my appearance, and then I just thought to myself, I don't think appearance matters in that vein so much. I think hair is beautiful, but once your hair starts to become somewhat defining, you should ask yourself, is it worth it? That's why I decided to change it and change my hair up a little bit. And I'm excited for the growth because there's been so many different like viewpoints that have changed now. Like the difference between the way I perceive myself and the way I was perceiving myself when I had locks is completely different. The way some people look at me has changed as well. It's led to like a change within myself. I also feel like there was a point when I had locks as well that like I felt like what was I growing this hair for again? Like I didn't really have a plan, didn't really think about it. Now it's like I got this egg in my head and I'm ready to hatch. I'm ready to hatch, man. I'm ready to hatch again and go crazy again, man. I'm just
Ready
trying
to
to like
hatch.
I'm just trying to change up the aesthetic once again and keep people prepared for the unexpected. And I felt like people was genuinely starting to get like used to it, and I was like, okay, like, nah, we're not doing that. I want people to constantly be in awe, like be ready for something new.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. And it's interesting because yeah, you get people like I mean, I'm not gonna name names, but there are a lot of artists out there who are just simply known for holding one aesthetic over the entire course of their careers, if we're being real. And
True.
it's like they're known that's their brand, you know. And if they change it up, if they go with like an afro or something and decide to like comb out their whatever, it's like, who is this person? You know? It's interesting you mentioned about how people treat you when you've got locks, because I know that I mean, the only example that comes to my head right now is like, for instance, black women with braids or with an afro or with oh, or if they're wearing wigs or whatever, it's like they get treated differently based on their hairstyle. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, I get treated differently if I have my afro out or whatever, but yeah,
Mm.
it's weird.
Yeah, I'm
But
catching up on you though, bro. Don't worry. When I get my afro, get the twist and whatever, man.
gonna go with the Riley
Um,
Freeman, is that what it is?
I want cornrows. Cornrows is my next one. I feel like I'd rock cornrows pretty nice. So, or so I've been told. Yeah, we'll see.
Cornrows goes hard, to be fair. Yeah, I think it's I had cornrows for a little bit, and it was like this one guy swiped up on my story this one time. He was like, "Ish, you were too nice, man. I don't know whether to hug you or be afraid of you when you got cornrows." And I was like, I was like, "Hey, fairs, man."
I hear that. I hear that. To be honest, I feel like yeah, cornrows is a dangerous game. You feel me? Like you can really sweep up, really sweep up.
Exactly, man. Yeah. I suppose we can go back to a statement that you mentioned a little while ago about how you got the name Steez from skateboarding. You mentioned in one of your tweets a little while back, I'll just quote it. When people ask me what my name means, I just got to laugh. Uh, talk to me about that.
Okay, yo, I don't know if I can get into specifics of this, but it's a funny story.
Yeah.
If a few of my friends will probably tell you if they ask, but it's like a long time ago, it was just Steez for me. Like there was no Blame Steez, it was just Steez. Like since I was probably like 13, 14, school days, that was the name that people gave me. It wasn't until maybe I was about 16, 17, them times there, that I was like, felt like I kept being blamed for things. Can't lie. It was like,
Scapegoat type of thing.
yeah, like if something will go wrong, and it's like someone's gonna say, "Oh, Steve, like, it's always you, bro," and and then a couple years later, maybe when I was around like 18, 19, them times, actually, maybe more like 18, I just said, "Yo, if everyone wants to keep blaming me, then I'm gonna claim that. I'm gonna blame myself and hold it, blame Steez." And then between the ages of maybe like 19 and now, it's been even more interesting because it's like more of a spiritual slash more of a like personal thing, because it's like I tell people, if you sit there and blame other people, it's not your life anymore. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hold yourself accountable for all the decisions you make in your life. So it's like I blame myself. I hold myself to accountability. I'm self-aware like that. I'm like, yo, if this thing goes left, I'm not gonna blame you. I'm gonna blame myself for leaving it in incapable hands, which allows for me to, I'm not too hard on people. I like to give people empathy and stuff like that. I hold most of the blame for things. But I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to do more. But yeah, Blame Steez is a funny story, man. Everyone was blaming me for a lot of things back in the day, man.
100%, man. Yeah. And it's interesting that you mentioned the whole spiritual thing. You've mentioned that a couple of times. Would you say that you're a very spiritual person in that, you know, you're sort of in tune with like it sounds stereotypical, but like the universe and like Earth as a whole and that kind of thing? What do you mean by spiritual?
When I refer to spirituality, I refer to just like the personal relationship you have with whatever beings or whatever spirits you think are real. I feel like there's definitely something out there. I would like to believe so. I personally believe in Christ, believe in God, believe in that guy that holds me. Spirituality can be a personal experience for anybody, but I'm a religious person. I believe in God.
100%, man. Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk a little bit more about your creative process because obviously, the visuals behind this recent EP. What do you call it? Would you say it's an album or an
And
EP?
technically, I refer to it as a tape, as a mixtape, but like I do feel like professionally and like officially, it's an EP.
Yeah, because sonically, mixtapes they're more just songs that are just put into a thing, whereas EPs and albums they're things where they're cohesively. It's got a cohesive structure, you know what I mean? And I feel like this definitely does have a cohesive structure. So that's, I mean, that's what I thought about it as, anyways.
I
But
agree, yeah. I do feel like it does have a structure. I did have a theme in mind, so makes sense.
yeah, absolutely. And I do want to get into the theme a little bit, in a little bit. But I want to talk about the visuals for this album first of all. First of all, that video that you posted, the friggin' album cover thing where it like pans around the room with the friggin' Ricks, the friggin' 40F, all of that stuff. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. Who did that? Talk to me about that.
So that was a collaboration. One of my homies, Tommy Blend. Shout out to my boy Tommy, man. He really hit it with that. Um, he is a 3D animator and digital artist. Um, and we basically met up like one time in the city, and then after that, we just worked remotely. This was during like COVID times. We really had like fun with designing shirts and other things. We just messed around. Like really was just like trying to learn this thing. Um, After that, I said, "Yo, we're gonna actually end up doing some cool stuff, but I don't know when." And then when the tape kind of like was finalized, and I was looking for a cover art for the project, I hit him up because I thought like he would definitely be someone that I would like to work with on this. And he literally hit the nail on the head. I wanted to create an immersive experience. So it's like Can't Sleep Forever is the title of the project, but it's also a statement to like those people watching, you can't sleep forever, like you can't sleep on me forever. And also a statement to myself that I can't sleep forever because I felt like I was sleeping on my own abilities, my own talents. I was sleeping on myself a bit. So I tried to like pick it up with that. And that's why you see in the animation, it pans around the room. It's supposed to be a depiction of my room. My essentials, my computer, my studio space, my bed, sleep,
The
I sleep
Ricks, yeah.
somewhere. Shoes, the Ricks, I need my Ricks. And then yeah, the clothes, like obviously teed up with 40F, man. Shout out to Kobe and everybody over there. It's like it was supposed to show like my world and just a pan around and obviously me on the floor there, lit up, showing like I'm lighting stuff up now. I refer to myself as the light. So yeah. I liked working with him because he really understood the process and it was just a case of taking on my own like ideas and building that together.
100%, man. I do want to talk a little bit more about the creative process, but rather sonically at this point in time. So, um, how the music is made. Do you produce? Do you mix? Do you mix and master? What's the situation like for Blame Steez?
So I do all my recording, mixing and mastering at home in my own studio. Um it's usually just me up until the very end when I want to start maybe like putting things together for a project. Then I might get a second pair of ears. Um, I might speak to one of my engineers, Midnight, shout out Midnight. He always hooks me up nice with some of the best sounding mixes, bro. Like just for comparison, really. I have my own sound, but he also encapsulates like more of like a original trap sound. So when I want to like get more of a perspective on like what it would sound like in a playlist or in like back to back with another few songs in an EP, then I'll hit up Midnight or someone like that. But I do all my recording and mixing, mastering myself mainly. Like And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts about making music. Um, yeah, just I enjoy like working on things and seeing it through to the end, from the conception all the way down to execution.
100%, man. And it's interesting because it's almost like you can tell when someone oversees it from start to finish, you know what I mean? Because you get a lot of artists who just like, I don't know, just like take a type beat from YouTube and just like, freestyle over it for
Mhm.
2 minutes and call it a day at that. But like with people like we won't talk about Kanye. With people like Pierre, people like Pierre's the only person who comes to mind right now. But you can tell that they have like their own like personal connection to these beats that they're rapping over. These are like their
Mhm.
babies almost. So it's
Yeah, for sure, man. Shout out here, man. That's my bro.
100%. I'm curious as to how you got into music. Is this the path that you've always had in mind, or did you start off just producing, or what was the again, what's the origin story for Blame Steez?
Okay, so basically, when it came to making music, I started it off as more or less, I don't want to say a joke, but I didn't take it serious. Like, I feel like everybody like maybe thought about once or twice, like, yo, maybe I should push this music thing. But for me, it was like I used to freestyle in my boy's car. We used to just joke around. I used to go to studio with some of the guys I was cool with back in school days. We used to just, yeah, it was like it was funny in it, and it was like one or two of my friends was like, yo, you're actually kind of good at it. Like, you're better than us, man. And I was like, nah, 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 nah. And they were like, no, you should take it serious, innit? And I was like, I might do a couple songs here and there. I did drop like a couple songs when I was younger, and yeah, like Streets was feeling it. It was cool, but like I kind of parked it off because I felt like I didn't really know what I wanted to do, like with music. I was like, I'm just gonna make music for what exactly? At first, it was just because my friends wanted to hear my music, so I was sending it to my friends. But now I have a more of an idea of like where I want to take it. So it's like I have an agenda to fulfill. Um, I want to be like an inspiration to like newer artists, like people that in the UK don't really see the same amount of like support and stuff. Like because the vein and genre of music that I make isn't the most popular. It will be, give it like a year. I feel like the underground is growing so vastly. It will be. But like I want people to see me and see that you can do it your own way, have your own swag, have your own sound, build your own empire. And from there, people will gravitate towards you if they like that. Not just like this. Not just like, oh, like I mess with him because he's popular type thing. Like that's what I've always wanted to do. But I really just started out because I don't know if it was fun. Innit?
Yeah, exactly. So, I think I missed what genre you said it was. Did you say vein rock? You said.
I said the vein of music I make. I wouldn't even
Oh,
know how
right.
to categorize my music, but they say I'm underground. I'm telling them I'm going overground. I'm going Eurostar. Like they can't box me in, yeah, so
100%, man. Yeah, I mess with that. I mess with that going overground, going Eurostar. I mess with that.
yeah, man.
That's a bar right there. You need to use that.
We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and you know what? That kind of leads me on to my next question because I I don't know if I'd call some of your beats that you rap over rage beats, but they do
Mm,
sort of have like that kind of there are elements of that sound, you know what I mean, with the heavy 808s and the synths and all of that. I do want to talk about how rage beats were a massive thing last year. I'm gonna say last year, 2022. It doesn't feel like 2023, but you know
mm.
what I mean. Um and like maybe the end of 2021 as well. It's looking like it might be the same for like at least the first half of this year. Maybe after a while as things will calm down a bit. I don't know. But what do you see taking the spotlight after this, after the rage beats?
Honestly, I don't really know. I feel like it's a toss up. We could have like something like Jersey beats being like really prevalent, but I feel like it's hard to make a guess on like what the UK will take to. I know Americans like more trap heavy sounds. They like sounds like, go well with dances and things like that. In terms of the UK, I feel like we might get more stripped back rap. I feel like things might calm down a bit in terms of the sonics of things. Um, I think we might do away with synths and maybe have some more natural sounds like keys. We might do away with some of the more abrasive sounds and things like that. But I don't think we're gonna ever lose that heavy trap influence in the UK. Things like things like Polaris, like we have with OG Kemi, like sounds like that, where we got more romantic sounding music. I feel like that might be the space we might enter, and then straddling that with trap beats. I feel like that's more likely than Rage continuing into 2023 and onwards.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like a lot of people might agree. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. Um, do you see yourself personally shifting your style?
Um, I do, I do see it shifting slightly, not in the sense of like it's gonna change drastically because I know that the people that listen to me, the people that support my music, they like the way that I rap. But I want to change the delivery of things and give people a bit more to digest. I don't want to just stay in the same sort of conversation of rap. I feel like as an artist, I have more to offer and more to develop into. So I do feel like the sound will emulate what I'm doing in my personal life as well.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and
like,
yeah, I feel like people will like it as well. Like the stuff I'm working on now, people will like it.
yeah. So like different themes and like, I suppose moving away. I mean, some of the defining themes on Can't Sleep Forever I saw were, like fashion, like high fashion, various women, and I suppose you could say ego to an extent as well. Um, I'm curious as to what themes you see yourself exploring in the future.
In the future, I feel like I want to talk more about, well, just to be clear, we'll never stop talking about swag. We'll never stop talking about fashion. We'll never stop talking about baddies. We'll never stop talking about that because that's like the fabrication of life, you feel me? Getting fly, doing what you need to do, you feel me? And whatever comes with that. But I personally want to start talking more about the optics of life as well. Like, what is your purpose here? What are you trying to achieve here? And inspiring people to make that leap for whatever it is they want. Because I feel like we can be artists in it, but I feel like more than being an artist, I want to show people that there's so much more to life, and there's things that you can do that you may not have even once thought were possible. Because even some of the stuff I do these days, looking at myself like, how far have you come, bro? Like, yeah, it's cool. I like it, so I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna show people what's possible.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy because like, yeah, you have to think about this kind of stuff, like where you started, how you've gotten to where you are now, and that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's crazy to think about where you could be in the future as well. So you've performed live quite a bit as of recent, like last week with Kemi, other week, a couple of weeks back before with people like, I don't know, like Nine Nova, people like that. Um, Quick one, what's the best thing about performing live? What's the worst thing about performing live?
So I would say the best thing about performing live is seeing the people that listen to my music. And I can't even tell you how fun that is to you. Like when I see people singing my lyrics back to me, sometimes even louder than I am singing to them. That's like top, top two, not even two. And then the other thing I would say is really nice is I like seeing I like seeing people put on amazing fits. So when people come to the shows and they look so fly, I'm like, you're the show. Like you guys look amazing, everyone looks good. That's one of my favorite parts. Worst part about performing, um, probably like just the late nights, but you get used to it.
Exactly, man. It's the late
Yeah,
nights.
but
It's also, as a watcher, it's getting tossed about so disrespectfully in these pits. I swear to you, last year I was at Lancy and I was at JPEG Mafia. Those two gigs were some of the most disrespectful gigs I've ever been to in my life. I fell over at
Mm.
Lancy and like 5 people fell on top of me, and I really did think I was gonna die. I really did think I was gonna die.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Nah, it's calm, man. It's calm. I'm
Sorry
still
that
here.
happened to you, bro.
I'm still.
But yeah, I think it's part of the experience as well. Like when you go to like shows, you don't want to just be like in the back, being all mysterious, being all like, trying to be too cool. Like, come get mixed up with the rest of the people, because it's memories at the end of the day.
Exactly,
You
yeah.
know?
I will say, I was wearing this exact same do-rag as well. I don't know how, because I was on the floor, but someone snatched it. Do you know how disrespectful that is to get a do-rag snatched off your head? I swear to you.
People got no shame. People got no shame, bro.
You have to laugh, but I've never felt disrespect like that in my life.
I can imagine, bro. You came with a do-rag, you left without it.
It's not that I left without it, because as I was on my feet, a couple seconds later, I see this one guy with just like a pissed off look on his face. He's just holding up my do-rag in the air, just like, who does this belong to? I'm like, yeah, that's mine, man. You get that back. But yeah. Nah, I mess with it though. The late nights are a bit peak. But yeah, the whole style thing, I swear to you, I mentioned this in one of my other videos. These East Asians need to be studied on how they put together their outfits. East Asians and also dark-skinned girls as well, dark-skinned black girls. I swear to you, the way they put together some of these outfits is insane. I don't know how and I don't know why, but it's just they're top two.
Yeah, I would agree. I like to be around beautiful dark-skinned women, beautiful black women in general, just because they'll show you a side of swag you never knew existed. And like as a man, your options are limited. So a woman getting fly is completely different. They got skirts, dresses, they got tights, different things that they can do on their bottom half. Then top half, you might have a halter neck, you might have a strapless. They got different types of like the swag is really, really like it's got different sides to it. So like you can learn something from them and try and like spin it back on yourself. And I think that's why I like to be around black women, man. They're like the pioneers of swag for real.
Honestly, they really are. It's crazy to see. Like you get people like freaking Aaliyah, like Aaliyah's interlude. I don't know if you know her, but
Oh
she's
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I've seen that before on TikTok and shit.
yeah. She not gonna lie, she's a freaking pioneer, bro. With this whole fishnet pink, just everything loud but minimal as well. It's crazy. It's maximal minimalism, if that makes sense. I don't know how else to put it.
Like, she does it good though. She does like again. She layers well, and like I just think layering is an underrated part of fashion. People will be like, "Oh, go get this piece and that piece," but like, how do the pieces sit on top of each other is the most important thing. Like, she does it nice. I like it.
Exactly, yeah. In the next few months, then what can we expect? New releases, new visuals, new this, new that. What can we expect from Steez in the next few months? When I say next few months,
you can expect to see some real dope fly shit. Bro. I can't say too much because I don't want to give it away, but stay really, really close to me. Like keep an eye peeled because I'm gonna do some interesting things. I want people to be surprised by the direction I take things in. So I don't want to say too much, but real dope fly stuff only, man.
100%, man. We this is such a dumb joke. We get a friggin' I don't know, trap Christian album or something like that. What can
I got a chrome on me, I got a cross on me, don't worry about it.
100%, man. Yeah. Nah, that's crazy, man. I do have just one more question for you before I let you go on your way, Steez.
Yeah.
You are heard by, and I ask this question to everyone as well. You are heard by everyone on earth for 10 seconds. What do you say?
Everybody on earth. What am I telling everybody get up and go do that shit. Don't worry about who's doing that, who's doing whatever they're doing. Get up and do that shit. And respect everybody, man. Everybody's just trying their best. Yeah, that's probably what I say.
That's real, man. Honestly, that's real. I mess with that because usually people will be like, "Oh yeah, check out my SoundCloud, check out my
No, man. no shameless self promotion. Just I'll promote love. If I could promote anything in the world, I'll promote love. I feel like love and light is what I am, so that's what I will try and show people. Be like, yeah, go love somebody, do that shit, man.
That's hard, man. Love and light. I mess with that. Cool. Um, I think that's a good place to end off this episode of the podcast. Listeners of the IshPlusSix podcast, watchers, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you subscribe. Steve, tell the people to subscribe, fam. Maybe they'll listen to you.
Subscribe to IshPlusSix, bro. I told you, go subscribe.
Come on, listeners, you heard him. You heard the man. All right, Steve, do you have anything you'd like to say to the people before we end off this episode?
Yeah, man, just stay fly. Real deal fly shit only, bro. Get out there.
100%.
Happen as well. Tee up. Let's go.
Of course, of course. Listeners, I think that's a good place to end off. Make sure you go forget subscribing actually. Make sure you go check out Can't Sleep Forever on all platforms. Spotify, friggin' Deezer, friggin' Apple Music, everywhere, fam. Friggin' pirate it, don't pirate it. All of that stuff, you know.
This guy's trying to get me in trouble.
You know the vibes. Just go check it out on all platforms, fam. Go check it out. My personal favorite tracks are Dumping Out, Dance, and Authentic. Make sure you guys go check out those tracks in particular. Steez, thank you for appearing on the podcast. Listeners, make sure you stay fly. And I will see you later, alligators.